To another fantastic video. Today we're going to be talking about the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. These were the first two political parties that emerged in the United States, and they popped up around the time of the ratification debates of the Constitution. One group loved the Constitution, the other group not so much. So let's get to it. The first group we want to look at are the Federalists, and the Federalists loved the Constitution. They said, this is great, this is wonderful. Anything that we need to fix in the Constitution, we can fix it later on by amending it, by changing it. But they wanted to ratify the Constitution how it was written in 1787. Now, in 1787, the Constitution did not have a Bill of Rights, so our original Constitution did not include one. The Federalist Party thought that adding a Bill of Rights to the Constitution would be unnecessary and it might be dangerous because they thought that it was unnecessary because state constitutions already had bills of rights. So it was like, why do we need another one? And they thought it might be dangerous because they believed that if you would write down the rights that people have, you could potentially limit the rights of the people. Because what if we forget one? What if a new right needs to be established later on? Then what do we do? The Federalists also believed in a stronger national government. So they did not like the national government that we had under the Articles of Confederation. They believed that that government was super weak, it was ineffective, it couldn't do anything. So we needed a much stronger central government. And some famous Federalists were people like John Adams and Alexander Hamilton and John Jay. Moving on to the Anti-Federalists. And as you can imagine, the Anti-Federalists were pretty much against what the Federalists wanted. The Anti-Federalists believed in a much smaller central government. So they liked how the central government was set up under the Articles of Confederation. They thought maybe we just give it a little bit more, a few more powers and call it a day. Okay, so they did not want a stronger national government. They believed that the states should have the most control. They also demanded a Bill of Rights. They said, if we are going to sign this Constitution, which we don't really like, if we're going to ratify it, we have to have a Bill of Rights. Because they believed that if you didn't write down rights of the people, then they would kind of be up in the air, like, do the people have this right or do they not? And there would be a question. And they thought that potentially the government might take away rights of the people if they weren't written down. So again, the Anti-Federalists wanted a smaller central government. They wanted it to be a little bit pretty similar to what we had under the Articles. And Thomas Jefferson is a famous Anti-Federalist, okay? So then eventually, this was kind of the theme of the entire founding generation, eventually the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists do make a compromise. And that compromise comes because of some essays that were written and circulated to the public. And if you're a Hamilton fan, you know about the Federalist Papers. These were a series of essays, of articles that were written supporting the Constitution. So these were articles that were discussing various components of the Constitution and how it was going to be good and beneficial for the people. And of course, the Anti-Federalists weren't okay with that, so they came out with the Anti-Federalist Papers, which were basically counteracting anything that the Federalists said in the Federalist Papers. So eventually we do come to a compromise, and that compromise comes in the form of the 9th and 10th Amendments, okay? And we're going to talk a lot more about these in class. But the 9th Amendment says that just because a right isn't listed doesn't mean you don't have it. Meaning, even if a specific right isn't listed in the Constitution, you still have that right. And the 10th Amendment says that any power that's not given to the federal government and not denied to the state government is given to the state government, okay? So the 9th Amendment was put in to help the Federalists, and the 10th Amendment was what the Anti-Federalists would have supported. So I will stop there for today. If you guys have any questions, let me know.